Namah Shivaya children, welcome back to the civics class on equality. In the last class, you studied about equality, how it is there in Indian democracy. Today, we shall study about issues of equality in other democracy. You're probably wondering whether India is the only democratic country in which there is inequality and where the struggle for the equality continues to exist. The truth is that in many democratic countries around the world, this issue of equality is there. And we can see the communities also struggling in all the countries for equality. For example, in the United States of America, there we have the African Americans whose ancestors were slaves. Actually, they didn't have in their country. They purchased these slaves from Africa to work for them. And they had purchased them. They went to Africa and purchased them. There they used to bring to America and make them as slaves. This slavery continued to describe their lives today, and even today they are treated as unequal. This despite the fact that there was a movement in the late 1950 to push for equal rights for African Americans. Prior to this, African Americans were treated extremely unequally in the United States and denied equality through law. For example, you can see here, when traveling by bus, either they have to sit at the back of the bus or get up from their seat whenever a white person used to enter and he did not have seat, means they had to give their seat. So here we are referring to Rosa Parks, one of the lady who had suffered such incident and who raised her voice against this. So you can see in the picture Rosa Parks. She was an African American woman who refused to give up her seat to a white man on 1st December 1955. This led to the start of civil rights movement, and they demanded for racial equality. So here her refusal that day started a huge agitation against the unequal ways in which African Americans were treated, and this came to be known as the civil rights movement. So, civil rights movement here, where we call it, there was an act passed as Civil Rights Act in the year 1964. Here you can see in the picture Rosa Parks. She was an African American woman who changed the course of American history with one defiant act. So, coming to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it prohibited discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin. It also stated that all the schools will be open to African American children also, and that they would no longer have to attend separate schools specially set up for them. However, despite this, a majority of African Americans continue to be among the poorest in the country. So most African American children can only afford to attend government school, that where we have they have very few facilities also, and the teachers were also poorly qualified teachers when it is compared to the white students who go to private schools, or the area where the government schools are as highly stated as private schools. So let us discuss about the Article 15 of Indian Constitution. So here important provisions, what are they? If we see, every person is equal before the law. No person can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, race, caste and gender. Then every person has access to all public places, whether it is a playground, shop, market, hotels. All person can use the public wells, then roads and bathing ghats. So untouchability is abolished. Here, no country can be described as being completely democratic. There are always communities and individuals trying to expand the idea of democracy and push for greater recognition of equality existing as well as new issues. So central to this is the struggle for the recognition for all the persons as equal and for the dignity to be maintained. So here you will read about how this issue of equality affected various aspects. As you read the other chapters, think about whether the equality of all persons and their being able to maintain their dignity is upheld. So this is about the lesson on equality. In the next class, I shall come up with another topic, children. That's all for today. Namah Shivaya.